So for the first month, the stipend disbursements that is going to happen, the security deliverables have also been included. I mentioned that last week. So last week I mentioned that it would be up to networking, but then the time has kind of been extended. So instead of just month one, right now it's like month one, week one, kind of. So the security deliverables too have also been included. So if any of us has not yet completed those, please let's try to get them done by Monday, the cases especially.
Hello,
Yes, Terry.
for what is this security?
Yes, for security.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay. And please let anyone here who hasn't completed their security cases.
Yeah, I've not completed. Left with a few, about two or three.
Okay, so please try to get that done by Monday, close of Monday.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. So that is the data that he would be using to disburse the stipends, and then the data has already come. Those of us who gave your names to me, please has your data come now or still, William?
No, it's still not in.
Okay. And there was also a list of people who asked me to have Francis send them the code signal assignments again. And he said I should let you know that he sent them. So I think you know yourself. So please check your emails and please get them done so that they don't expire again. Yeah, so that's it. We can start with a recap of the concepts that we had yesterday. Yeah, so the cases are what Francis uses for the cases, code signal assessments, and those things. So the lab, we understand that you need to have the time to do it. So if you are late on your labs, it's not as much as an issue than if you're late on the cases, because as I mentioned, the cases are just 5 questions. Albert, is that okay? Okay. Okay, so please, who remembers something we cheated yesterday? Terry.
Hello, so analysis. We learned that dynamic analysis is the process of monitoring software or codes whilst it's still in use. And it's very helpful when the code is already used and then there's no much you can do. So the most important thing to do is to analyze this whilst it's
Terry, today your network isn't helping
when
us. So.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's better now.
Hello?
Hello, Terry, we can hear you now. You can speak.
Okay, because I seem to be hear me. So
yes.
Let's start, please.
Yes.
Okay. So we learned about dynamic analysis. We said that is a method used to evaluate and understand the behavior of a software system or application whilst it is running. And then static, examining code without executing it. We talked about some of the advantages and the disadvantages of dynamic analysis. I'll just say two of them. Two advantages is accurate problem detection, where it can detect issues that only manifest during execution, and then enhanced test coverage. Also, by observing the program's behavior in real time, it can also help ensure a wider range of scenarios and inputs whilst they are being tested, so that on a more remote software. And then one disadvantage is also that is very complex. The setup is complex because dynamic analysis, interpreting data, And then collecting data can be complex. That requires significant expertise. So if you're not much of an expert, you cannot be able to do that. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Terry. So as you mentioned yesterday, we looked at debugging and testing, and we mentioned that debugging is done to just identify errors or identify defects inside our code, and we fix them. Each programming language has their own debugging tools, and inside of Python, if you want to go into debugger mode, the command you would run is python-m pdb and then your file name. Then you'll be able to run some commands which would help you to debug your code. And we also saw that the types of debugging, we have static and dynamic. Static is, it happens as you code. So yesterday, someone from Terry's group did a demonstration, and as he was coding, realized that just like how you get the curly red underlining in your Microsoft Word when you make a spelling mistake, the Python interpreter too is able to communicate your syntax errors, your semantic errors, indentation errors. Probably you're calling a variable that you haven't declared. So the Python interpreter has some level of error checking while you code. So that helps when you are doing the static type of debugging, because as you're coding, you are able to fix the errors, and the IDE too, depending on the IDE you're using, PyCharm, VS Code would also be able to help you identify and fix your errors as you code. And the dynamic type is when the code is running. So as the code is running, or as your program is running, the errors that are encountered during that runtime, that is when you can use the dynamic way of debugging to walk through your code line by line and be able to fix whatever issue that it is. And other tools that you can use are assertions and log monitoring, where you can write the errors that your program is encountering while it's running to a log file. So when it comes to dynamic monitoring, assertions and log monitoring also help when you are debugging. Thank you, Terry. And look at the raised hands. Ruben.
Yeah, good morning once again to everybody.
Good morning.
Yesterday we were all on group presentation, and on that I take note of what our brothers and sisters they discussed or they presented concerning function models and libraries. So based on that, I got to understand how functions are being grouped to become a models, and how models are also grouped to become libraries. So they depend on each other. So from functions that are grouped in blocks becomes models, and models also group together to become libraries. And within the libraries that we can import and function, or we can import model to work on our program. That is what I also got from it. And concerning our DevOps to DevOps and continuous integration, as our brother presented, that is an advanced way of automating operations, software development operations. Originally, it was a plan-driven system that organizations were using, and that's falls under waterfall technique. But as time went on or came up, we were able to get agile technique also concerning about individual teams coming together to develop a software. Then later, we have this DevOps. DevOps is more advanced, that take the whole process, the entire system operations into concern. So it's like, it's a process integrated process. That means it is like a chain that connect to each other and processing data. So that is what I also got from yesterday's lesson. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Ruben. So yes, yesterday we looked at modules and libraries, and we mentioned how you are able to reuse some code, or you are able to use another developer's code thanks to modules, because there are some functions inside of their code solving some problems that you also need solved inside of your code. So you'd be able to import their modules and be able to use those extra functionalities that their modules come with. And we mentioned that modules make up libraries, and we have the standard Python library where we can go to import some commonly used modules like OS, math, statistics, etc., so that they can give us some extra functionality. And we also mentioned that you can also get modules from third-party sources like pip, from pip and from is it Python, the repo. There's a repo where you can also go to get Python packages. And then we also looked at DevOps, and we mentioned how it bridges the gap between the various stakeholders inside the software development lifecycle. So from software development and then software operations, it's just automates and monitors their infrastructure and their operations and how they bring programs to life, or sorry, how they bring software to life, or even how they update whatever software that is already in existence. And when it comes to DevOps, we also said we have the waterfall, as Ruben said, there's the waterfall methodology and the agile methodology, and Ima helped us understand that the waterfall is linear, everything is planned, and then we just go ahead and execute from stage to stage. But with the agile, it's more iterative. As feedback is coming in, changes are being made, and we approach the development process little by little. And Ima also helped us, he also showed us what a day is like for a DevOps engineer. So we saw some tools like Jenkins and etc. yesterday when he presented. John Harold.
Hello, madam. He said he will put it in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
We spoke about file handlers, and we used the open function to open a file and close function to close the file after writing or reading from the file. Yeah, so yesterday we looked at file handlers, and we looked at the built-in function, that is the open function, at a built-in function called the open function, and it's helped us to be able to handle certain files. We did a demo on diary.txt, and we looked at how you use the open function, takes the argument or the parameters, you specify the file name, and then you also specify whether you want to read, append, you want to write, the access that you want to the file, and you would be able to have that inside your code so that the function can open up whatever file it is and perform that function, that's write, that's read on the file. And we also saw the close function, and we mentioned that it's every time a file is opened, or whenever you put in your code that the open function should open the file, you should always make sure you close the file, just so system memory is not being utilized, so the file doesn't keep being opened. So it's like how you'd open your machine, your Windows machine, and you open a text document and you're not using it, you're done with this, but then you just keep it opened. So we mentioned that we should always make sure to use the close function to close the file whenever we are done doing whatever we want to do with the file. And in this case, usually whatever we wanted to do with the file would already be returned to us. So closing the file would not be an issue. Thank you, John. Anybody else? There are some things from yesterday that you guys haven't mentioned. Okay, we looked closer at some of the modules like the OS module and the JSON module. Please who remembers how to, if you want to use a function from a module, how you, after importing it, how do you use that function? So let's say the module you want to use is the OS module, and what the function you want to use from there is, for example, mkdir. The line of code or the statement where you want to use it, what would you put there, Dennis?
Yeah, so after importing, let's say if you import the OS module, then you do os.mkdir bracket open bracket close.
All right, thank you for that, Dennis. So whenever you look at a Python code and you're trying to understand what is happening and you see that for example, os.mkdir, you should be able to tell that, okay, they have imported the module somewhere above there. And then what they are doing is just calling the mkdir function from the OS module. So we're going to see a lot of that when Gifty's group presents today. But before they go, the other group should go before them. So let me just pull up the group. And so group 2, Jennifer's group, Quanting. Please, is Quanting on this call?
Yes, please, I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning. Please, your group can present now.
Okay. Good morning. Is Jennifer on the call?
She mentioned should be in transit. Okay, she's here. Jennifer, can you speak?
I'm here, but as you can see, it's very noisy. I don't know if you can hear me.
We can hear you.
Okay, so can someone Hansen, can you share your screen? Can you share your screen?
Okay, Jennifer.
Please go to the first slide, slide 4, page 4. Okay, so good morning once again. And I hope everyone can hear me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you. Okay, that's good. So today, sorry, anyway. So our group is going to talk about Python configuration management. But first of all, we would speak about project infrastructure. So imagine you're working on a project with other people, or if you're building a house, guys. A lot of things go into it. But then there are different people with different expertise. There are electricians, there are masons, there are plumbers. There's even the what do they call those people? The foreman, yeah, all those things. They all come together to build the house. It's the same thing with code or any kind of project that a number of people are working on. When you are developing something and they are writing code for it, everybody has their area of expertise. Everybody has their responsibility. But then you have to come up with a plan and plan how the project is going to go, sort of like a skeleton, so that everybody is on the same page and can both all collaborate together and not cause problems for one team or the other. Right? Nancy, can you go to the next slide? Okay. So the traditional project infrastructure, I mean, which obviously has its cons, I mean, like disadvantages, works in a way that every team works on what they want to work on without consulting or without having an agreement or a plan with the other team. So everybody's working individually. Then they are all done, they bring their everything they've done and figure out what they're taking and what they are leaving and see if the code runs or whatever. And obviously this won't work and this will cost a lot and waste a lot of time, because imagine you're building a house and then I don't know if anyone has seen them building a house and how they lay the pipes for the wires, right? Plumbers also use pipes. Imagine if they all didn't plan and didn't consider each other, like both different teams, and the plumbers connected the pipes that have the electrical wires to water. That would be a disaster. And the same way this would be a disaster too, because after writing all that code and after putting the announcement put your pieces together, you realize that okay, this will actually affect our side of the code. This will actually affect us. When all of this would have been avoided by coming up with a plan together, so that everybody can follow certain rules and know that okay, we are building this, but then make sure that this team doesn't do this and make sure that this team doesn't do that. Yes. So Clancy, you can take over from here. That's fine.
Okay, Jenny, thank you. Hello, William. Is William here? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I want to stop sharing so that you can share for me, okay?
Okay.
Okay, good morning once again.
Good
Good
morning.
morning. Can you please hear me? Yes.
Good morning. Yes, we can hear.
Okay. Okay.
Morning.
Jenny, thank you for your submission, and good morning, Akosia. Good morning, class.
Hi,
I'll be
good
taking you
morning.
through code organization. So when you say code organization, code organization is a very crucial in software development. Why am I saying this? Code organization it ensures maintainability, readability, and cooperation across teams. The reason to this is a well-organized code follow specific conventions and standards that promote consistency and efficiency. Yes. So what then does it mean to have a well-organized code? Before we look at the 3 arrows, let's look at the factors involved. I've listed like 4 factors involved for a code to be well organized, or when we say a well organized code. Let's first look at consistency. So consistency, simply put, is a code that adhere to a consistent style. It's easy to read and understand. And for consistency, it includes the naming convention, indentation, and the structure of the code itself. Secondly, for a code to be well organized, it needs to be clear. That is readability, to be very clear. So a well organized code needs to be well understand, reduce cohesive load on developers, and making it very easy to spot errors. Thirdly, I would say a well-organized code must be maintained well. Why am I saying this? Code that is organized in a logical manner is easy to use and maintain, and also update, which is crucial for long-term project success. So let's look at the coding style. That is the 3 arrows we see here. So for the first arrow on our left, it talks about most companies have specific coding style that their employees must follow. And these styles include rules for naming variables, indentation, and structuring code. That is what I said initially about what a well-organized code means. And for the second arrow on our left, in the middle, it also talks about it also gives emphasis on the first one. That is, while the details of these styles vary between companies, the key is to adhere to adhere to like the style the company must follow. So whatever thing you are doing in the company, or whatever task you are giving, the underlying word, or the key you have to follow is to understand the style the company use, so that it will avoid any confusion. And finally, that is the last arrow. Also conclude everything by saying it also follow the style consistent. It also follow consistent style rather than specific details you've given yourself. So it with this, it talks about how a code should be well organized. Can you please go to the next slide for me? And this slides also talk about okay. So we are then going to the tools and templates for a well organized code. So many tools are available to build a cohesive infrastructure across teams. So as he has opened, let's look at the first for style. And when we are organizing a code for style, we need pilings, and this pilings is a tool that checks if the code follow a specific style, and it also ensures code blocks indentation or code that is correctly indented and can automatically fix formatting issues. So that is for the piling. So for logics too, we have PyTest. And when we say PyTest, we simply mean it's a testing framework that runs tests to ensure code changes meet requirements. And it also facilitates writing and running tests, providing detailed feedback on test work. So before I hand over the baton stick to my next learning colleague, I will just conclude all what I said by effective code organization is fundamental for the success of software projects. And so by adhering to consistent code style and utilizing tools like what I mentioned at the top, the pilings and the PyTest, teams can ensure their code is readable, maintainable, and free from all errors. So following this practice will help avoid confusion among teammates and streamline collaboration and maintain a high standard of quality codes across the entire project as a whole. So I'll leave it to the next person to continue. Thank you.
All right, Quentin. William, don't move past that what do you call it? Slide, okay?
This one?
Yes, please.
All right, got it.
Great. Good morning once again to everyone. I believe I'm loud and clear. You can hear me.
No, a bit
Yes, you
louder.
can.
Sometimes the network, so I want to be sure that you can hear me.
We can hear you. Guys, why are you not responding?
Yeah, because
We can hear you.
all right, great.
We can hear you.
Great. So in the course of the week, I believe we came across a tool for collaboration. Anyone have a hint? Tell me the tool we came across that developers often use for collaboration.
GitHub.
Git.
You're
I think
right.
you're presenting.
It's on GitHub.
Yeah, Ruben, you're correct. William, the next one. So one of the tools that, like I said, the popular one we'll be using is Git. And I think one of you did mention about GitHub. So it's more like a hub for managing your Git files. So what we have here is to track the changes of the code as it is developed. So from the beginning, we talked about the project infrastructure where we have different parts of the team. So if we take, let's say, a website as an example, we have the front end, we have the back end, we have the database section, and a lot of things that are going on. So if, let's say, we are working on such a project, what will happen is we will split the project into teams. So maybe we have the front end people working on certain things, the back end people working on certain things. And with the Git, you're able to see, because we're all making changes to a particular repository. So we're able to know what everyone is working on. In the beginning, we learned about the traditional infrastructure where we don't get to see what the other team is doing. But with the modern way, we're able to see every changes as and when, and then they're able to correct errors if there are any way to roll back certain changes that have happened, right? And we on the next slide. So I wanted to see if I could do a little demonstration how we can use Git. I don't know whether any of us have apart from the non-techies, if any of us have created an account on GitHub yet, have we?
Yes, we have.
Okay,
Sorry,
great.
hello, Agusia.
Hi, Terry.
I thought it's been a presentation, but the questions and thesis out in there.
Yeah, he's making it interactive, so that way
Oh.
you're likely to remember. You're likely to remember things that he asked you about for you to answer.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah, please don't have a problem. I think that we can have a lecture and we can also have a Q&A, right? I can ask questions for feedback. Yeah, great. I was trying to log into my GitHub. I'm coming. A second. 6. All right, so William, if you permit me, let me share my screen from here, okay? Okay. So I believe you can see my screen, correct?
Yes.
Great. So I'm logged into my GitHub, right? Let me see if I can go. Okay. So what you're looking at is the dashboard, and depends on the configuration or the setup, what the person has had. I've not really customized my GitHub so much, but if you look at someone like Adura Inwodu, she's customized it a bit, telling you about what she does, the personal website and all that, right? And things that she's worked on, right? And her contributions to date. Are we okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are fine.
Great. So to create what do you call it? A new repository. See it more like a folder on your machine. All right. So you click on the top right, and you have what do you call it? What you saw here as your repositories, right? And I created a number of them. So you want to create a new one. There is a green button here you can see that is new. Okay. Let's title this as demo repo. Okay. And for the first demo purposes. So then you are asked to, what do you call it? For the setting, whether you want to set it to public or private. So when you visit certain teams, you realize that some of the repositories are private because it probably contains sensitive information. But for now, I will set it as public, right? And like we do in bash scripting or coding, it's always good to, let's say, add comments so that then someone is able to see what you're doing, right? And understand the code. So likewise, you can add a README file that would more like give whoever that comes across your folder or that repository what the code is about. Is that clear?
Yes, please.
Yes.
All right. So then we have certain licenses. A very, very important thing I want us to point us to. So often we go with the general licenses. That would be which one? Okay, let me just choose any for now. Creative Commons, okay, and create a repository. So once that's done, you have the license file and then your README file. This is the MD you are seeing here is a markdown file. So you can go online and then more like perfect or see how to add these files to like, what do you call it, text to your markdown file. So let me cancel the changes and I'm back here. So let's say that I want to add maybe code quickly to just the demo, right? Like I did. I opened the README file and then there's a pen tool here to edit the file. So let me just add a few comments here that maybe this is a comment, right? Then let's say each line is a file pattern followed by one or more owners. And then we have the, we can preview. Let me see that. So let me, there's a comment. Each line, let me, okay. So I believe you can see the changes on my end here, right?
Yeah.
Great. So let's say that you make changes to either the code or you add certain comments, right? Once that is done, if let's say you want to add those changes in the Git or let's say GitHub world, they call that commit. Is that clear? So we just click commit changes. And if you work, I mentioned you work on certain teams, maybe you make certain changes, you need to give them some background. So maybe that, okay, I added, what do you call it? Some background info to the README. Okay. So again, I would say that there are two places you can commit to. You have the main branch and then some other branches, but it's going to be a long talk. But what I want you to understand is that it's like a path. The main branch is what the final changes will be sent to. So sometimes you have to be very careful that you don't just commit changes to the branch, the main branch. So often there are sub branches that what do you call it? They commit the changes to. Then over time, someone who is responsible for merging them, right, to the main branch will do so. But for now, let me just commit directly to the main branch. Okay, and one more thing maybe I would also demonstrate would be, let me see. Let me see something. Is it history? Okay. I was trying to find what we call the difference. But let's say that if you are working on a team and you want to see the changes that have been done, I think I clicked. Let me just go back and do this before I end my session here. So there is this button here, very, very, very common. That is a history. When I click on that, it would give me the changes that I've made, right, so far. So I started on, let's say, this period, the update that I made. So I don't know if during the time in school, when we worked on our project, right, when you send your Word document to the lecturers and they make certain changes or the comments, you can see them on one side. I believe you all remember, right? That is exactly what you will be seeing in the history section, okay? I wish I had time to maybe demonstrate how you could have done it with, what do you call it? The terminal. What do you call it? William, can you share your screen from there for me?
Okay, give me a second.
So like we do when we use we want to SSH into our instance using, let's say, the git bash. You just follow these commands, right? So there is a git, then let me see the URL for this one. Let me see. So over here I have that github.com. My username is Imawuku, and then the title or the source code is demo project or demo code, right? So you type that in your git bash or your any of your CLIs, and then you do that. If you want to make changes, you follow this command. So git space commit, then the message you want to make changes to, and then you push. That is the last one. The next one on the slide. All right, I think I've also demonstrated this. So you remember, I think there was a part where we were asked to give a brief description. So you can note it there, okay, that is maybe like version 3.2.1. Then another person makes certain changes, then also adds to the revision. So maybe 3.2.2 in that order. The next slide. Okay, I think William, you wanted to go over from here, right? Or was the next?
Yeah, I'll take over.
All right. But before you do, I just also want to add that the let me see. The Git site is beginner friendly. So if, let's say, you want to learn about Git, they have a book freely available. I think it's also online. So I'll share that in the link while William takes over to present. Okay.
All right, thank you. So I'm going to take you through configuration management accounting and configuration management security. All right, so what is configuration management accounting? We can say basically it involves the tracking and management of changes in the configuration of systems, and it also ensures that all configurations are known, accessible, and they are traceable. And let's look at some key concepts with configuration management accounting. This is what I researched, and I found this baseline configuration, and basically this is a snapshot of the system settings at a particular point in time. And we also have change management. And this is the process of handling changes to the configuration items in a controlled and systematic manner. Also, we can also look at some tools needed for managing and tracking configurations. And we can use the AWS config. That's a service that enables you to assess, audit, and evaluate the configurations of your AWS resources. And we also have the AWS Systems Manager, and this is a service that provides operational data from multiple AWS services, and it streamlines it to a streamlined management task. And I think we already know about the AWS CloudFormation. This is a service that helps you to model and set up your Amazon Web Services resources. All right, and so what we can also look at what role Python can play in this, and with Python you can also help automate scripts. The Python script can be used to automate configuration management task, and can also do resource management. And in this sense, we're saying that handling AWS resources such as the EC2 instance and the S3 buckets can be done using Python. Okay, and so effective configuration management accounting in AWS ensures that your cloud resources are consistently and securely managed. Using Python, you can automate and streamline these processes, sorry, and contribute to a more effective and reliable IT environment. Is that okay?
Yes.
All right. So we're moving on to configuration management security. And all right, so configuration management security, what does this do? It simply involves safeguarding IT systems configurations to prevent unauthorized changes and to also ensure that the system operates securely. So configuration management security is very vital when it comes to modern cloud environments, where maintaining the integrity, the confidentiality, and the availability of the system configurations directly impact the overall security. So in AWS, secure configuration management is crucial to protect cloud resources from unauthorized access and potential threats, like I already mentioned. And um, when we look at key concepts when it comes to management security, we can look at access control. Uh, this just ensures that only authorized personnel can make changes to the configurations. I think we already know of audit trails. This helps keep detailed logs of configuration changes and access. And then we have compliance, and these are security standards and regulations to adhere to, and monitoring. This basically involves continuously observing configurations to detect and respond to anomalies. All right. Um, we can also look at some tools needed for configuration management. So there are a lot of tools. I'm just going to touch on a few of them. We have the AWS Identity and Access Management, the IAM, and this manages access to AWS resources securely. We have the AWS CloudTrail, and this tracks user activities and API calls for your account. And also one thing I researched, what I found in my research was AWS Systems Manager. And this helps automate operational tasks and maintain security through runbooks. All right, so how can we use Python for secure AWS configuration management? You can do it through Python scripts. Python scripts can enforce security policies, can automate compliance checks, and can manage access control effectively. And then we can also use Python to encrypt for encryption. So encryption and secret management. So with Python, you can securely manage sensitive data in configurations. And also with you can also do security monitoring with the same script. So you can use Python scripts to also monitor and give you alerts on security events. Okay, so in my research, I also looked for best practices for secure configuration management, and I found a couple of them. And so for best practices to secure configuration management, you can try encryption, like I mentioned earlier. Always use encryption for data, and we also have the use of multi-factor authentication, and this enhances security by requiring additional authentication factors. And also, you can try using regular audits, and so continuously monitor and audit configuration changes and access logs. So, managing AWS configuration securely using Python involves understanding and implementing robust access controls, and also continuous monitoring and compliance automation as well. So when you follow these practices, you can ensure that your cloud environment remains secure and resilient against threats. That would be all. Thank you for listening to me. And if you have any questions, my team would be ready to answer them. Thank you.
Hi, please, do we have any questions for group 2?
No, please.
Okay. Okay, so just to
Sorry, Akosa, I have a question.
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so during the presentation, a markdown file was mentioned, but there was no explanation. And then I think license file too was mentioned, but there was no explanation. So if they can explain what is a markdown file and then a license file.
Oh, cool. Or any other person in the group can explain.
All right. To help Yakubu understand, I think I did mention, maybe he missed it earlier, but how do I put it? Oftentimes, the basic or the least text file you have on your system, let's say when you download even games, it ends like it's a TXT, right? It's a text file. So in a Git world, at least if you add the markdown is more like the equivalent of a text file. Yakubu, do you follow?
Yes, I followed.
Yeah, so but that it doesn't have any fancy features. It goes directly to the point. So someone, let's say if you are looking for, let's say, installation instructions from your game, right? You just see it as a text file and you read it. You're not looking at whether there are headers, there are tables. I believe you understand, right? So just likewise in the Git world, the basic text file is your markdown file, which ends with an MD. So let's say it's a README file that talks about what the repository, or let's say the code base, whoever is looking at is about. Is that clear?
Yes, like a metadata.
Yeah, metadata. Yes, I think Dennis has his hand up. Do you want to make any contribution or addition?
Yeah. So Markdown in itself is also a language, like how HTML is, and it's used to edit text, just as you said. So it has syntaxes just as like we have seen for the programming language like Bash script and then Python. It also has its own syntaxes that you can use to beautify your description about the repository. So that's like if you want to describe what's contained in your repo, like you can give it like a table of contents. Some of them can include a graph, whatsoever. So yeah, that's what Markdown is. It's a language on its own that you use to edit your text content about the repo.
You are spot on. And I also want to add that it's not very difficult. I've also dropped the official guide. It's just like we have the bash scripts, right? Very, very easy. And I think the last part of his question was about the license. So I also want to liken it to, let's see, the AWS where what do we do? Like there are certifications, like more like authorization to be able to maybe operate in certain areas, right? So let's say with the license, in order not to get into issues with certain people, or let's say protect certain things you are using, maybe there is a code base you are using, maybe you are using certain code base from maybe like MIT, and it's open source. So just include that as or like a certificate of a sort in your code base. I hope I'm speaking to the issue. Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
great.
The license is in every repository.
Not really. Some repositories don't have licenses, but sometimes they just add it for makeup that, okay, it's an common, but it also helps so that you know which, let's say if you're copying someone's repository, you know how to go about things, right? If let's say it is Creative Commons, it means that it's more like it's open. So you don't have issues maybe like when you use part of their code base. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Great.
Okay, so yeah, so as Dennis says, the markdown is just like plain text. And when Awuku went to his Git account, his GitHub account, we were able to, he showed us someone who had just put a summary of what her repo contains. So it's just plain text, and then the license that just controls, or it shows that you have access or you have permissions to whatever that is inside your Git repo. And just to summarize what Group 2 spoke about, project infrastructure, configuration management, it's just helping to ensure that projects reach their goals. Auku took us to collaboration, how we can have multiple developers working on a project. And when coding in Python, you need to always make sure that you're using a standard style. So when we talk about style, it's not what's the word? It's not compulsory, but then when you do, or when you use, or when you code like that, other developers who see your code would be able to understand. So proper indentation and spacing and grouping blocks of code, all those things come to play, because when you're collaborating, any other person who sees your code should be able to understand what you're doing. And the pilot command helps check the style of your code, and then the PyTest will run tests on your code to ensure that it's working as expected. And William took us through software configuration management, managing code that is used in projects, and we looked at one tool that is inbuilt in IDEs, which is Git. So if anybody has used VS Code especially before, whenever you are working on some code and you have initialized Git. So when we say initialize Git, it's like kind of asking Git to come and be inside your directory, or asking Git to come and just keep track of the files inside your directory. You notice that whatever change that you make, because Git if you have the Git extension installed on your IDE, it will show red to show that yes, you've made some changes. And on Monday, we saw how when you make any change, you are going to have to add the file. So you run git add. When you use dots, it adds everything inside. So stay inside this directory and add everything here. When you use the file name, so probably it's just one file that you change. So git add, then you mention the file name, and then you then commit, and then you push, and realize that you could also run git status to know at what stage that your file is at. So when you're using VS Code, it also helps you to be able to track all of these things and be able to successfully push your code for other collaborators to be able to also contribute or make their contributions. So if that is all for group 2's presentation, we would have group 5, Gifty's group. So Gifty's group, they had 30
Group
something
4.
slides, but okay, group 4. But it's actually not it's not that much. So I'm sure we'll be done by 10:30. So you guys can start, and where you need me to come in, just let me know, okay?
Okay.
Chris here.
Hello, William.
Yeah, so I just wanted to ask for permission. Can I be excused? I have an emergency I have to attend to.
Okay,
All right, thank you so much.
welcome.
Okay, guys, please, good morning.
Good morning, Paris.
Okay, so we will be presenting on the system administration, the Python for system administration, I mean. Please, are you ready? Are you ready?
Hello, is he around?
Yeah, he's around. Hello, Albert. Osman, please, can you share your screen where you are? And since you are not getting out, I think I can start with something. Maybe when he comes in. Okay. If that's okay.
Paris, you say you need help with the presentation for which one? System admin.
Python for system administration. Yeah. Where I am,
Okay.
I can't share my screen.
Let me see if I can help with that.
Okay, sure.
Okay, I think Osman is sharing now. Yeah.
Okay, so Python for administration. No, we we cannot hear you. We can't hear you. We don't know why. Okay, so Python for administration. Oops. Python for administration. Then it's please go to the second slide, please. Yeah. So we have here we have here the very core of the lesson. It says that at the end of the lesson, we should be able to know I mean, a system administration, how to use Python functions to manage users and then handle packages, and also use the os.system module, as well as the subprocess.run module in Python. Okay. Please go to the fourth slide. No, sorry, the third slide, please. So yes, what is a system administration? Okay, so system administration is basically managing the hardware and then software systems. I mean, in our environment, and then page ensures that the computer system and all related services are working well. So these or let's say these duties may include the installation of new hardware or software, and then creating and managing user accounts, maintaining computer systems, and also and also responding to a system outages and various other issues we may be having. Yeah. So okay. I would like to throw a question to the class. Okay. So I want to ask. Please go to the fourth slide. Please go to the fourth slide. So the question is how could one use a Python to make how can one use a Python to make a system administration task easier? I mean, anyone can answer. Anyone from the class, not necessarily from our group, but anyone from our class can answer. Let me see if we have. Okay, Ruben, please go ahead.
Yes, from our initial stage of Python, we got to know the function of Python as one of the languages of programming, which is very easy. If it easy to understand, it's more readable. That and also it's a general purpose language. So based on the question, it makes the system administration the task very easier in the sense of it makes it easier to understand the whole concept, and also make it possible for each and everyone who use Python in his or her program to understand the whole concept of system administration. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Dennis, can go ahead.
Yeah, so just as Ruben said, from the features of Python, we also understood that it can be used for automation. And
Okay.
since system administration, I mean, to be efficient, you need to know how to configure automations. I think Python could make a system administration task easier.
Okay, thank you very much, Dennis. So we are all right. Okay, so let us kindly go ahead to the benefits of system administration. Benefits of system administration. So we have increase in efficiency. Starts there, less sense, and then also it shows that our system are stable and working smoothly, and then also we are able to resolve problems in our system or in our environment. Okay. How better would you like to take over from here? Hello, Albert.
Okay.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. So we'll be looking at can you please? Okay. So we'll be looking at increased efficiency. So increased efficiency being a benefit to system administration. So what it does is in system administration, system administration automates specific tasks and streamline processes, reducing the time and effort required to manage IT infrastructure. So this allows administrators to focus more on specific activities and improve on overall productivity, hence increasing efficiency at the workplace. And also identify and resolve problems before the business is affected. So under this, I can also say effective system administration ensures that all IT systems are properly maintained and optimized. So regular updates, backups, and performance checks demonstrate that the systems are reliable and operating efficiently. So in essence, it will build confidence among users and stakeholders. last one is it shows that systems are stable. Systems are stable and working smoothly. So systems are stable and working smoothly. So proactive monitoring and management of systems help detect potential issues early. So in essence, once okay. So once these issues are detected early and sorted out before they cause any problem, it clears any kind of problem or latency in the system or the network that the business will be working on, and helping to facilitate smooth working. Thank you. So I think the next slide will be for our brother also. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Albert. So
Okay, thank you very much. So, Paris, are you okay? So I should go on.
oh yeah, sure. You can go ahead.
Okay. So now we have activity for users here. So now the following slide contains code snippets for managing users. Use your current knowledge of Python programming to read the code and decipher what it does. So we have a code snippet here. Okay, so this is just a code in Python. It's a function that you can use to automate your work as a system administrator. So as my other colleagues explained, so as a system administrator, you can use the benefit of Python, or you can use the ability of Python in order to automate your tasks. You can use Python like this one. So we have a function which is defined here. So we have a diff, and we all know that diff is a keyword, which is the definition of a function. So there is a function here, new user, and this new user, this one, the first line is just defining the name of the function, or defining the function with the name. And the next, in the body of the function, we have confirm. So the confirm is a string that have been initialized to n, which is capital N. So now, after that line, we have while loop. So with this while loop, the while loop is using the confirm to iterate or to repeat a certain action. And the action is that the while loop is saying that while confirm is not equal to, we all know that this one is an logical operator which is not equal to. So while confirm, which is a variable that has already been initialized to n, if if while confirm is not equal to y, so the system will prompt the user. So user, and this one is a function, it wasn't a variable the code has declared, and the user and the system is prompting the user, enter the name of the user to add. So this one is prompting the user to enter the name of the user to add to the system. So when the user enter the name, it will hold that name or that value in this username variable. And the next line is print, use the username. So now this one, the next line will display it on the user screen. Use the user's name plus, so this one is concatenation sign, the plus is a concatenation sign that brings what the user entered. Example, if the user entered Akosua, so it will be use the username Akosua, so it will be a question mark. Use the username Akosua, and the user is expected to enter yes or no. So when the user enter yes or no, or y or n, the confirm, the user input will be stored and confirm. So this one is accepting the user, and this one will convert what the user entered to uppercase if the user entered small y, or uppercase Y. So that one will be converted to uppercase Y. If the user entered lowercase n, that one will be converted to lowercase n. So this uppercase is just converting what user entered to uppercase. So it's an inbuilt function of Python. So you don't have to do it. You just have to make use of it. And it's under the input model. Now, when the user enter, so now we have os.system, and this os.system is a system library. So in order for you to use it, you have to import it. Yesterday, I can't actually remember the group. A certain group presents libraries and packages. So if you want any of the Python libraries or packages, you import it into your code. We'll demonstrate that when I finish explaining the code. So we have os.system sudo add user. We know that in Linux environment, if I'm going to add user, this is the command. So sudo add user plus and the username, let's say Akusua, and the name will be added to the system. I don't know whether you get me. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let's just demonstrate this one in our code. So let me see whether I have my SSH. Can you see my bar script? Bar script. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Hello. My bar script.
Yes, it's visible.
You can widen it a little.
I think okay.
You can do Control plus. Ruben, is it that it's small?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Yeah. So go to the terminal and do Control plus.
plus to see if it will work out.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's okay.
Can you see that?
Thank you. Yeah, it's good.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, I have an EC2 instance. So I have just searched into that, and we are going to use that one to demonstrate. Are we going to go? Hello.
Yeah.
So now let's say that I'm going to make a directory where I have to enter put my course in. So let me call it system Python system.
Where's the
So I've just make a folder called Python system admin. So I will cd to that folder.
Please, you can edit the pattern, I think.
Okay.
It's just a name, so
It's just a name. Okay,
yeah, it won't matter.
spelling matters to us.
Please go to, so as for the command, spelling matters, the CDM.
Yes.
If it's just a name, it doesn't matter. But if it's a command, you need to. Oh, you can press tab. Osman.
Okay. I've seen it.
So the name of your file is long. So next time when you type the PYH, then you can press tab. Linux will complete it for you, okay?
Okay. So I'm inside that folder. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a file, a Python file, and I'll have to touch. And I'm going to open it with Nano. So Nano. Okay. I made a mistake.
Are you trying to fix the name of your Python
The
file?
name of the, yeah, I'm trying to
Okay,
fix the
do
name of the
mv or
Okay.
just create another one. Just create
Okay, let
another
me just
one.
create, let me just
Yeah,
create
so do
another.
nano. No, do nano. So when you do nano straight, it will create it and open it for you.
Okay. Okay, so let me just go touch.
With nano, we won't need the touch. Oh.
Okay,
No,
I'm just going to create it.
using
I'm
just the
I'm
touch.
just going to create it. So now after that, I'll open it with nano. So nano.
What Akosia is saying is that you could have created it with the nano straightforward.
Okay. So I have a nano here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this course and paste it there so that we'll see how we can use it. So just copy this.
Okay. Unfortunately.
So as I explained, so the import, because we are using the os.system library, so we have to import it, which is on top of this. So now we can now save our file, and now we can run it. So Python 3
Tab. Okay.
Okay. And so now the function is running now. So now the first line, so they are asking me to enter the name of the user to add. So let's say if I'm going to call the user Akosua.
Hey, please spell her name well.
I will spell it well. I hope it's correct.
She's dear to us.
I hope it's correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so username, so I'm able to add, so they are now asking me to. So they are asking me, so do you want to add, use the username Akosua? So if I type yes or Y, it will be added. So now the next line will prompt me for the password. You know that though that one is not part of the user function, but it's part of the Python Linux script. So when you're adding the user, you have to give the user the password. But with this function is allow you to add a user. So let's see if I provide a password. So changing the user. So now I have to enter. So I'll just press enter to just. So I've added the user, which is Akosua to the DC with the use of that function.
Osman.
How we get it? Yes.
Please move your git bash to the right a little.
Is that okay?
A little more.
You can view it side by side. Use a Windows key. And,
Windows key and we add the right or left to actually place the screen.
Windows key, right arrow key.
And then I'll click your and do
Sublime,
Windows left. Okay, perfect. I want to, so please go to the Sublime and do control minus.
Control
minus. I want to see more of your code.
Okay.
Minus, not plus.
Okay.
Okay, I think this is fine.
But Osman, is it possible the left pane, you can let it disappear so that it will be, your screen will be wider?
Okay.
Is it possible?
Okay, so do control plus 2 times. Okay, that's fine. So group 4 is taking us to how to automate or how to use scripts to do some system administration tasks. And when we were learning Bash, we saw how we can use a Bash script. All of you submitted, you made submissions for that Bash script. You wrote a script that would create a new user. So we've established that writing a Python code is just those commands that you can run directly on the Python command line interface and putting them into a script so they perform some function for you. So what's this code inside of your we got it from your slides, and what this does is that it takes user input. So as soon as he ran the code, he was asked, where is that line? He was asked to enter the name of the user he wants to add, then he entered it. So that's the input. So it takes your inputs and then it goes ahead to point out the name that you enter. And to confirm, we noticed that he entered a letter Y when he was given the response inside his terminal, but he wasn't given an error because the upper what's it called, function was able to move his small y to a big Y. So then his script was able to run, or his code was able to run without any issues, and he has successfully been able to create a user. So any other what's it called? Any other tasks that you need to do, any other commands that you need to run inside your Ubuntu. So he imported OS. So we see that some commands inside Ubuntu he's able to run those commands inside here. So I think this demonstration for the first part is okay, Osman. I saw that there are other demonstrations too, but we can skip those and move to the next part of your presentation. Before, is that okay?
Okay, so I believe the leg is just about all demonstration.
Yeah. What is it?
Osman, we can actually go to a file handling. Okay, is it file handling? You know, package handling. Package handling. I think.
So we have another activity which is user group.
Yeah. So adding a user to a group, removing a user, all those things.
So this one is also using a group. So we have the next one, which is adding a user to a group. So we have this one too, and this is no other function. So this one is just a function as we discussed. This one is just allowing the system administrator to add the user to a group, and the system administrator is making use of the Python function, and the function is add user to a group, and the first line or the body of the function, which is this one, so enter the name of the user, so in that order. So I don't know whether we should demonstrate that or
no, please, we can skip all these user group related ones and move straight to what's the next thing for you guys?
It's group packages.
Packages.
Yeah, package handling.
Okay. So the following slide is also just the same thing, but it's about package handling.
So we've installed a package before in our class. Who remembers the package we installed? I mentioned that packages help you to give your server extra functionality. So when you provision a server from AWS, what would help you make it a web server, a database server, a server tailored for a specific purpose? Yakubu.
We install the Apache HTTP service.
Okay, so Apache would help you to make your server a web server. Thank you, Yakubu. I don't remember installing Apache though, but what we installed was similar to Apache. So, Dennis.
I think we installed Nginx.
Yes, thank you. So Nginx, Apache, HTTPD, all of them, they help you make your server a web server. So your server would be able to serve web contents. People, users would be able to access your website, and then a web page will be served for them. So that's what these three packages that we've mentioned, they do. Ah, okay, you saw Apache in the lab. Okay, okay. So still on system administration. So apart from you creating users, removing users, adding users to a group, apart from user management inside of system administration, package management too also is your domain as a system administrator. So these packages that help you to be able to tailor your server to a particular use case. How do you manage these packages? How are you getting them installed? How are you removing the packages you don't need? How are you purging them, etc.? So that's what we talk about when we are talking about handling packages, okay? And so there are some demonstrations here. What's is happening here is that the code has been written. So this automation scripts or this code has been written so that instead of you installing your packages one by one, so today we'll come and do sudo apt install nginx. Then when we need a different package, we'll come and do sudo apt install httpd, sudo apt install mysql, all those things. What this script or this automation tool is helping us do is that it's going to help us to install all these packages that we need just by running the script. So the script is going to take some input, and based on the inputs that we give to the script, it will be able to run those commands for us. So earlier I had what's his name? Yakubu puts all these scripts together into one. So I think Osman, you can stop sharing now so I share. And
I even have them here.
Oh, you have it?
I have it.
Everything?
Everything, yes.
Oh, okay. So when I was asking Yakubu to do that, where were you?
No, when you did that, and I was doing it in when my colleagues were presenting their.
Ah, okay, okay. Okay, then you can demonstrate for us.
Okay, so as Madam was explaining, so this this is another function that will allow the user to import or install or remove the packages from the Python library. So this is the code. I don't know, should I go through all of them to explain, or we should just do the demonstration? Okay.
So I think you can just explain what each block does, and then after that we'll
Okay.
demonstrate, we'll run it.
With them. Okay. So as we have the OS being imported because we are going to make use of it. And the name of the function is install or remove packages. And the beginning of the function, we have a variable which is default packages, and it's been initialized to packages 1, package 2, package 3. We use it during the lesson. We have another variable which is declare, and it just assigned an empty string to that variable, which is IORQ. So now we are going to this block, which is the while block. So in the while block is using the IRQ to make a decision or to iterate. So here, this line is using the previous declare variable, which is IORR. And the IORR is, while IOR is not equal to I, and IOR is not equal to R. So this I means that install, and this R means that it was removed. So now, if this one is true, if user if user input I, capital I, or the user input R, and this loop will continue running. So it will be, would you like to install or remove packages? So as usual, it will be a question to the user, and the next one will be an input. or prompt, when prompting the user to enter either R or I or R. And whatever user entered will be converted to uppercase using this upper. And that one will be installed under this variable. So if it happens that, so there is a decision within, there is a decision. So if it happens that the user click or the user entered I, if I or I is equal to R, so this one is an operator. Wasn't just checking this
Comparison operator.
Comparison operator. Thank you, Gifty, for that. So comparison operator. So it will compare what the user entered. If the user entered I, so the action will be equal to install. So there is a variable they've just introduced here, which is action, and they've assigned and installed to it. And if the user does not enter R, definitely the user will enter I, or the user will enter R. So now, if the user enter R, the action value will be removed. And the instruction for the packages input. So now, this one is just an instruction on the user to how the user is going to use the function. So now, this one is just an instruction displayed to the user. Enter the list of packages to. So now, if the user had inputted install, so it will be installed. If the user has inputted R, it will be removed. So this one is the action value. So that will reference what the user entered. So enter a list of packages to either install or remove, depending on what the user entered. So this is referencing that action variable. So now the next one will be another instruction. The list should be separated by spaces. For example, so now this one is another instruction telling the user how to enter the packages. So the list should be separated by spaces. So all this one, they don't need any instruction from the user or any action from the user. It just displaying instruction to the user. So for example, package 1, package 2, package 3. So example, if you are going to install any package, so the package name, space, the package name, space, and the package name in that order. So now this one is also print otherwise. So that is still the instruction. Otherwise, input default to action, or to this action will either be removed or install. So otherwise, input default to remove or install, depending on what the user entered. The default packages. So what the user will enter is this.
So depending on if the user enters install or remove, if it's install, it will just go ahead and then run the installation. But
And
if it's
then,
remove,
it will
there's
go ahead.
additional, yes.
Additional,
So
yes.
there's additional choices for them to make.
Okay, yeah, that is it. So, and yes. Okay, so depending on what the user enter, Madam just explained. So, and what the user enter, whatever the user enter will be packages to confirm. So if the user confirm action install, so it will install. If the user enter remove, so those packages will be removed from the system. And in Python, identification is very important. So this one, these actions, all of this one, these two lines is under this action, under this if, and this one's under this one, and this one is under the while. So the in Python, the identification is very important. So it will be based on what the user entered. So if the user entered something which is not valid, so it will be invalid input. Please enter Y or N to continue, whether to say to whether to confirm yes or no. So, and it will go up and install or remove the packages. So this one will remove the packages. Else, invalid input. So if the user does not enter either yes or no, so and enter something to be invalid input, prompting the user that the user has entered invalid input, and the function will do whatever the user wanted to do. So let's just copy it and go and demonstrate. So let's come back to our DC. So let's, Mara, you were saying we can use the nano street
Yeah.
to create a file. So
Yes, please.
nano, let's say
Packages.py.
Okay.
Use a Windows machine, right? I think do Command K.
Yes.
Do Command K. Let me see.
Command.
Sorry, Control K. Nothing.
Nothing happens.
Do
Nothing
Control
happens.
L. Okay. So please go ahead.
Okay. So So I'll just paste the code here. So this is the code to install or remove a package. So I'll just save it and exit. So when I exit, so I'm going to execute that function. So Python
tab. The tab tries to help you when you're doing the right thing. So you missed an A. So press tab now.
Okay. Yeah. So see that. So now our function is executing now. So do you want to install or remove packages? Will you like to install or remove packages? So let's say So enter a list of packages to install. So it's just following what the body of the function. So the list, so this is what I was explaining. So this one is just an instruction telling the user what to do. So can someone mention any packages that we can choose to install? Can we mention?
Can do Nginx.
Nginx.
GI. NX.
That is.
No, NX.
NX. Okay.
Nginx.
So
space.
You can install the hping.
That is, you say?
The hping thread. I don't think if there's a new instance, I'm not sure it's already installed.
This is a new instance.
This so the hping thread.
That is.
There is a no. ing.
Osman, you didn't do assignment 6.
3.
Yes.
So let's install this 3. So are you sure you want to install the following packages? So if yes, so let's say yes. So it's installing the packages. So do you want to continue? So building and then so yes.
Okay, so the packages have been installed.
Yes.
If we remember our Nginx lesson, these are the steps or these are the processes that we went through, or these are the things that were happening. So all of this, you see that is being installed. So yes, it has been installed.
But I didn't see that of the hping.
Osman, please go up.
I should go up.
Yeah.
With on the bash shell or on the code?
On the bash. Or to check, let's run hping. So let's do a command on hping, and if it's installed or not, we would know, Dennis.
Okay. So the hping we need to use sudo.
We need to
The
what?
pro-
No,
we
you
need to
can
use sudo.
just type, okay, yeah, we need sudo, yes, it's true. But even just typing hping 3 will let you know whether it's installed or
Installed
not.
or not? Okay.
Osman, you left the trace, hping 3.
Osman, looks like this command is new to you. hping 3 is new to you.
No, not really. I'm not that conversant with the bash, the Linux
The
environment.
assignment.
Assignment 6.
So how did you do assignment 6?
Please allow.
Osman, I know what you know.
Inshallah vibes.
Yeah, so I
How is there?
it's installed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's installed.
Is there? Is
So I
there?
think
But
it
I want
just didn't tell us what was happening behind the scenes. And I think we're gonna use -v to have more details when we are running a command. It means
no,
verbose.
Osman, you have to exit this place.
How to exit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Control Z. Okay. So you guys can move on now. Please, is this demonstration okay for us, guys?
Yeah.
All right.
Very well.
Thank you.
I think there's just 2 or 1 slide left. It's just talking about how the OS module has been deprecated, so it's not really any longer in use. So a better module to use would be the sub process module, and that also helps you to get the functionalities and even more. That's the OS system office. So Asman, is it still you on this page or someone else?
Okay, I can. Paris, I'm going to take it as you continue, or someone can. Gifty, will you take it?
Okay,
Hello.
there's actually not much. So I'll
There's
just
no
speak on it
yes.
so that we can close because we're behind time. So we need to close so that those who are meeting me at 11 can prepare and come back. So
Yes.
yeah, so I'm talking about the differences and when you compare OS.system, which is using the system function from OS and using the run function from start process, because as I said, the OS module has been deprecated, so people are no longer making updates to the OS module. So if you should use it and run into any issue, they might not be helpful for you unless it's an issue that was being used when it was really active. So the sub process tool would also help you to get the same functionality when you are using that module. Okay, so Osman, you can scroll. And then these are the differences. The OS.system runs in a subshell, which is usually Bash or Linux, and it takes a string and interprets the escape characters. And sub process is not shell specific. It tries to run the program with the given string as a name. Osman, please go. So this is more reasons why sub process is better than OS. And so when Yakubu sends me the code, I used Blackbox to just translate it from an OS from using the OS module to using the sub process module, and I ran it and I also got the same result. So sub process would help you get like the same functionality and even more. It's safer and it runs as a separate process. There's a word I'm looking for. Running something as a separate process, like they're not, it's not monolithic. That's what I'm saying. So it's able to be running on its own process, and then the other processes are also running on their own. So that's way it has less to do. So that way it's more accurate with or it's rare that you would run into an issue. Or even if you run into an issue, you'd be able to source that out because it's bit by bit running. So it has been divided into little bits for the system to handle. Okay, Osman, you can score.
That is all. Just about the revision.
Okay. So Peter, are there any questions before we close? We'll meet in the afternoon. So Dennis.
Yes, I had one question. So that's the script we run, the Python script. I wanted to ask, you see, within the code we included like the pseudo statement, but when we run the script, I didn't see it ask for any password. And then again, also when we're executing the file on the shell, also we did not give it any, we didn't do shmode to give it any run permissions whatsoever, but then it was able to run and we got through to the goal. So I'm asking this based on security issues. Let's say if someone is able to SSH into your instance and is able to execute this kind of code, that could be problematic. So how is it that it was able to run successfully on this machine without any form of authentication?
So with sudo, there's a sudoers file inside your Linux system, and you can edit to tell how your sudo, when you invoke sudo, it should behave. So depending on the user that you are and the sudo that you are, yes, depending on the user that you are, when you invoke sudo, you might be asked for a password or you might not. So it's not always that you are asked for a password when you enter sudo. You can make edits to it inside of your file, and it depends on the action that you're trying to run. So the last time I used what was it? I was trying to do something and then they were asking me for password. So we had to close and come back. But then the next day when we came in, we invoked sudo. We're not asked for a password. Do you remember, Dennis? So it depends on what you're trying to do and then the user that you are. And what was the second question? Yes, you were asking about not giving execution permissions, right?
Yes.
So we didn't run a bash script. What Python did is Python ran those commands for us. So it's not like we had a script to run. It was a Python script that we ran, and that one we do not need to give executors permissions.
Oh, okay. So like this in itself was a program, so automatically it has execution capabilities.
Yes. So Python just went in there and ran the commands that we would need if we are to run those commands inside of our Linux system. Ima, you wanted to add something?
Oh, you have explained it already, so that's fine. Thank you.
Oh, say something small so that we go.
All right, no problem. So, Genesis first question, that's why it wasn't prompted for password because of sudo. Yes, anytime you use sudo, you'll be prompted for password. And one thing you should know is that he was using Ubuntu user, and Ubuntu user by default has one sudo privilege, then two, the Ubuntu is added to waive off that password requirement. So anytime it uses sudo, it's not going to be asked. And that feature is being done in the sudo file. So you can go in there and then make editing. Whereby I think the command is no password or. So meaning anytime that user uses sudo, they shouldn't ask for password. Yeah, it's security-wise, it's not the best, but I mean, to facilitate what you are doing, you can set it and get it done. Then maybe later change it back to always require something. Or once you take that command out, every time it uses sudo, it will be asked for password. Yep. So that's what I can add to. The other one, I think, because it's not bash script, you don't need to set permission. So you just run using the Python command, Python 3. Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Bye, guys. Those are meeting at 11. You have, in fact, anybody who hasn't done their feedback so far, I'm meeting you at 11 because today is the last day. So you have 15 minutes for water break or snack break or something, and then we meet at 11. Bye-bye and thank you.
Bye.
Thank you very much, Acacia. Bye.
Bye. See you guys in the
Hello, Acacia.
afternoon.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Is that
So,
Derek?
please, are you going
Yes,
to end
please.
the session right away, Acacia?
Yes, please. I'm ending for all.
Okay, thanks.
Please, I hope a link will be provided. Yeah.
For the feedback session.
Yes, please.
It's on Slack, but I'll provide this again. It's the same one that we'll use, so I'll just provide this again.
All right, sure. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Hey, Terry is showing his drawing skills. Bye-bye, Terry.
Terry that.